Hey, welcome back, push riders. So we're back on Casper again. Got a few bits and pieces we want to get done. First of all, we're going to swap out the plugs, put some new ones in, and also we're going to side gap them. Fit up a catch can, and if time's on our side, we might even do a little bit of gasket matching of the throttle body Y inlet manifold section. So let's get into it. Well, push rodders, plugs don't seem to be in too bad a nick. And then they've got their wear and tear. There's a couple with a little bit of carbon on them. So the whole idea of side gapping a spark plug is to expose more of the spark energy to the air-fuel mixture, which most likely will, the air-fuel mixture will light off quicker, hopefully giving you a bit more of a complete burn of the air-fuel mixture. And then of course the added benefit of that is better fuel economy, a little bit more torque, and possibly 1 or 2 horsepower. Essentially all we're doing is we're just marking with a little Sharpie, and just using a hacksaw, but ideally a little Dremel tool with a cut-off wheel is probably a lot better option than an old hacksaw, but hey, this is all what we've got, so let's get into it. Then we'll get our little files and file the burrs up all around it. There you go, push rodders. It's that easy. Oh, I'll get back to you when I finish the other 5. Well, push rodders, all the plugs and everything's back in there. So the inner diameter of this gasket, that exactly matches up to the plenum part of the inlet manifold. So we've got plenty of meat around here to have a bit of a play with. What I'm thinking is we'll put a really nice big chamfer on it, open it up, and probably a bit hard to see, but where my finger is, the corner, the sides here, we'll probably lay those sides back a little bit so it's a more straight shot down the hole or manifold or whatever you want to call it. Probably sort of see. Try and get that a bit more straight. And our throttle body, probably just get a cartridge roll and just give it a bit of a clean up, just get rid of a few little ridges and bits and pieces in there, just more or less deburring it, I guess you could say. I've also gone ahead and it's part of the emissions or some bloody thing, bit of oily and gunky inside, same with the Y piece and the throttle body, so give them a good clean out before we start having a bit of a crack with the grinder. And we're going to repurpose one of the old brackets, and that'll fit up our little catch can here. Now before I get into gasket matching and all that sort of stuff, I've got a question for you. Does this as cast finish, or on the casting, does that have more surface area than, say, if I polished it to not a mirror finish but really smooth? I'll answer that question in a little bit. So we've cleaned up our Y section of the inlet manifold, just radius the rear part of the ports out a little bit more. It's more using, not quite using our gasket as a template, but just so we don't go out of the gasket, I guess you could say. We've also cleaned up just in, not that you could really see it on camera, but so it's got a bit better line of sight to both runners from the throttle body. All in all, we shaved off about 50 grams of weight there. I was going to, now that question, which has less surface area, as cast finish like this or a polished finish? The answer is polished, because you've got all these little ridges everywhere, and of course you're going to have more surface area. Now I was going to polish all the underside of this and deburr it and all the rest of it, but I just simply don't have time at this point, so that'll be another job for another day. Now throttle body dropped about 2 grams, which isn't too bad. Just clean up the machining marks inside, probably opened up the hole maybe half to 1%, so a little bit of something's better than nothing. Maybe if you're lucky, if you want to do it to your vehicle, you probably see maybe 1 horsepower or something like that, but every little bit counts. And our little I forget what you call these bloody things, but essentially it's just letting some of the crankcase nasties, oil vapor and fuel vapor and all that sort of crap, go back into the engine to be burnt. So what I've done is we've just got out the solder and just plugged up the little dick there. Now the engine shouldn't, or this section shouldn't get that where it's going to melt solder, so that should be nice in there. Won't have a problem with that. Well, let's get all this thing back together again. Let's get it on the car. Okay, push rodders, that's our modified bracket. It's just a bracket that come with on the car, standard Nissan. That was 133 grams, and we got it down to 88 grams, so that's like 45 grams or something we shaved off the weight of the bracket. Now I know 45 grams doesn't sound that much, but when you start doing that all over the car, the weight really starts to add up. Now with this fitting the catch can and doing the hose here, and you know, the porting of the Y section and the cleanup of the throttle body and all that sort of stuff, it starts to add up. That's like nearly half a kilo, 500 grams or something we've taken out of the car with not much trouble at all. Yeah, hey, it takes a little bit of elbow grease, but if you want to go fast, that's what you got to do. Also, don't forget guys, we're going to have a review coming up on this light, especially for those of you that are in Australia. This one's from TTI, or Total Tools. It's their house brand or whatever it is, TTI. So keep a lookout for that. And yeah, if you don't have much on, hey, why not browse the other videos too? Alright, push rodders. Off camera we fitted our catch can and hoses. The hoses will get replaced at a later date because they're heater hose with oil compatible hose. We've pressure tested the cooling system only because these are coolant hoses. Took it for a test drive and yeah, good little gains. I'd say at a guess, with the seat of the pants dyno, we're probably looking around about 8 to 10 horsepower and probably about 15, maybe 20 foot-pounds of torque. The torque curve comes in earlier, probably about 800 RPM earlier, which is really nice considering this is an automatic car. So every little bit we can get, hey, all good. We did drop probably almost a kilo, or probably a kilo of weight out of the front of the car, which is always nice. The next videos you guys are seeing at Casper will be all the flow testing and modification of the snorkel, airbox. Might have a look at the airflow meter a little bit, and fitting up an adjustable fuel pressure regulator. But anyway, what are you waiting for? Go and get your hands dirty. See you next video.